Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. Brop. So we have Brop here and we have Boop there. And we have Beep in the back.
Boop beep.
Brop, Boop, Beep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. How you boys doing?
I'm good. Yeah.
We're all like a little low energy today. I didn't sleep well too much. I think Dolapo got here late and Luke.
Yeah. I slept
Luke's
great.
fine, actually.
I slept great last
For the first
night.
time in ever, Luke is fine.
I was saying also this morning, I feel the most well rested I have. Like I think in this year, like
This guy.
this is the
guy.
turnaround point of my year, guys.
What do you?
I am feeling well rested. A well rested Luke should not be allowed in society.
He has one good night's sleep.
Like, I'm saying,
one good night's sleep.
Once he started, I'm like, this
and
guy.
his life is changing.
I truly believe God makes certain people not able to sleep because they would be too powerful if they could also just sleep properly.
Shout out God, by the way.
Luke is the nigga that the most regular thing will happen to, and he will get all super philosophical about. I'm like,
it's like literally all you did was sleep 7 hours.
Yeah,
That's all you did, compared to your standard 4 or 5.
Yeah, by choice too. Even though he goes to bed at like 9 p.m.
I know.
You know, it's just like I find that like with sleep, it's the same thing as like eating bad, right? Like you can't like if you have one bad night of sleep, you can't like make it up with just like one good night of sleep. I find. Does that make sense? Like
there is such a thing as this sleep debt, though.
Yes,
which I've learned.
Yeah,
where it's like you actually can get your sleep level or like your sleep equilibrium back by sleeping more during consecutive.
Can we
nights.
check sleep debt? Like, is Arya just mouthing off right now?
No. I had a whole app like around this too. But yeah, apparently you can sleep multiple nights and get your sleep debt back into balance.
Yeah,
but it won't happen in one night.
Okay.
No, but I think like that's the key there, right? Like
Yeah,
you
it can't happen in one
actually basically
Sleep debt is real,
one
and it's
bad,
not a myth.
Yeah.
No, I want Dolapo to read this. I want Dolapo to read this.
No, I just wanted to say I think sleep debt is usually comes from the perspective of like that's why it's bad. Like that's why if you sleep badly one night, don't think you can just make it up the next day.
Exactly.
It actually pays dividend for several days, basically, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes,
Okay.
you're right. I
Chronic sleep deprivation adds up over time, leading to cumulative sleep debt that can cause fatigue and irritability, poor cognitive performance, reduced immune functions, increased risk for conditions like heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. However, it's not like a credit card where you can just pay it back by sleeping in on weekends and all is well. You can recover some of the effects with extra rest, but long-term sleep deprivation can't be fully erased with a couple long nights of sleep. Yeah, so like TLDR, sleep debt is real. Well done, Arya. Thank you for not spreading misinformation on our fairly small but growing platform.
You almost spread misinformation about me.
Well, I think
was happy to do that.
yeah, I was like, I think like the world is fine with that.
Dolapo's challenging the status quo.
He's the Nigerian contrarian.
Oh, jeez.
As per our descriptor.
Yeah, there we go. But you can make up for short-term losses, but chronic debt takes a toll that can't be essentially reversed.
Okay.
So.
Well, it just goes to show you never want to have debt in any context.
Facts.
One group of people you definitely don't want to have any debt towards is drug dealers.
Oof.
The kingpins.
Yeah.
The kingpins.
Yeah,
like the ones in British Columbia.
Yes.
You know what is so funny? I remember well, I've been talking to shout out to all my coworkers that listen to the pod now. But I was talking to them about it, and obviously, when people listen to our podcast, they always start from the most recent, which is great.
Yeah, always, yeah.
And then they ask me, "Oh, should I go to the beginning?" And I'm like, "No,
Don't do
like,
that.
like for your own benefit, less of ours, right? Because it's so shit." But just remember, at the beginning, we're in uni, we're so enamored with drugs and all these stupid things, and it's now that we don't talk about it, it's so interesting that when we go back to talking about drugs, kingpins is kind of what we're talking about now, which is insane.
That is a good observation. Where it's like in the beginning of this podcast, we would just talk about it as if as if it's like stocks or something. It's just like a thing to bring up around the water cooler. But you're right now, it's like so. I guess Dolapo, you found this article and you dropped it. How did you even like stumble upon this thing? Yeah.
I say most Canadians should know what this article is by the way by
Okay.
now.
Okay, yeah. I
By
think
now.
so. The article is federal investigators take down the largest, most sophisticated drug super lab in Canada, and this happened in British Columbia. And the article came out like in October, like early November, end of October last
Okay,
year.
so it's been I didn't hear of this until you.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sent
it's
yeah.
been around.
I
for a
saw it
while.
on like a couple news sources posted it recently.
Yeah,
That's why it kind of
that's what I was gonna say. I
circulated.
saw it on Twitter, and like people were doing some stupid stuff, like trying to create conspiracy theories about like Trump and politics, and I was like,
in the Iranian mafia.
yeah, and Iranian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people were trying to do that, and I was like, like I didn't want to see that, and then I was like, yo, like where's all of this coming from? And then I found the news source, and I was
Got
like, the news source is way like the actual news story is way more interesting than whatever dumb like conspiracy theory people were coming up with.
That's so sneaky.
And then I find it, and I'm like, this is actually insane
yeah.
that this exists in like little old Canada. Like,
Little,
and then
yeah.
like what made it so interesting for me? So I found this on my Twitter. And like I go into the news, like I just Google it, and there's a bunch of news stories. So this was extremely well covered by like the national media in Canada. So shout out to them. There's like the RCMP BC, like they released a bunch of stories. This is actually what we're reading in the background is actually from the RCMP site. So this is not like like an aggregated news source. So it was extremely well covered, extremely well documented. And the first thing that came to my head was Gustavo Fring. Actually, it was Walter White,
Yeah.
number one. And then I was like, no, he's not Walter White. This isn't a Walter White story. This is a Gustavo Fring story. And like the thing about this article when people read it is they haven't found Gustavo Fring. In fact, they've only found one person. Like they only charged one person. Like the lab was abandoned when they found it. So there's Gustavo Fring is on the loose in Canada. There's like a whole fucking cartel of doing shit. But like let's go into the details. Luke, please.
So
like,
I was gonna say I was reading into this a little bit before the podcast, and so what they seized, very interestingly. So first of all, they named this as a multinational drug corporation. They don't like name anything. There's nothing in this article that references like a specific gang or like group. Like it doesn't say like it's the Hells Angels or anything. It's just like a multinational, and they estimate their profits to be around 485 million.
Wow.
I don't know if that's
profits
annual or just in general, but like crazy. But
that's $500 million in profits.
In this thing, they seized 24 kilograms of fentanyl, which apparently is enough to
54.
Oh, sorry, 54, which is apparently enough to kill, which is apparently enough for 95.5 million. No,
yeah, 95.5 million potentially lethal doses of fentanyl.
No, I think this is saying like 95 billion million potentially.
Luke, what is
it?
No.
What is billion?
That's no. That's
this is the
95
Canadian
million.
education system.
95 million. The Canadian education system.
There's a lot of zeros, okay?
What is billion?
Look, my eyes are small.
The reading comprehension.
There's a lot of zeros.
Luke is a very smart guy.
In Luke's defense, they didn't write that properly. You know what I mean? It does say like the number 95.5 million followed by the word million.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
I see
no,
what
it says they wrote out 95 million in the number, and then they put million. Which, you know what? Like whatever. I'm an idiot. It doesn't matter. So it's enough for 95 million fatal doses of fentanyl. That's just the fentanyl. They also seized, as I was saying, close to 400 kilograms of meth.
Damn.
The reason why, by the way, I think it's 95 because if you look below it, it says it saved over 95 million lives. So you can just be reasonable about that.
Well, like again, that's the fatal dosage. 35 kilograms of cocaine.
Wait. I was gonna say, I remember not too long ago we were having a discussion in the house with Alyssa, and I was like, "Do people really do meth?" It's like, because that's just insane to me.
Let's open the world to your. Let's open your eyes to the world, man.
That's insane to me. But okay, 400 kilograms of meth. That tells me people definitely do meth.
People 100%. They made a whole show about people doing meth.
Yeah, what show? Oh, I'm dumb too. All right, there we go.
Anyway.
you came out the gate saying Gus Fring is in Canada.
Anyway, so 35 kilograms of cocaine, 15 kilograms of NDMA, and 6 kilograms of cannabis, which is interesting because like that makes me kind of think they just had the weed there just like cuz
Just for
like
shits.
I'd
Just for
highly
shits,
doubt
yeah, they're just
right,
like-
you know.
I mean, 6
yeah.
kilograms of weed is an insane amount of
It
weed.
is.
It is absolutely.
It's like 6,000
This
grams.
is little do we know the 6 kilograms of weed is actually just
Yeah.
employee benefits.
Oh,
It's
geez,
really
follow
Right,
me.
yeah. Funny
Oh,
enough,
geez.
looking at all of this, the 6 kilograms was probably size-wise bigger than everything else combined.
I mean,
Like just in terms of like when you think about like that's why
I
like
don't know. I think 400
400
kilograms, of meth.
meth is pretty hard to beat, bro.
Like it's like we're reading the list and it's like everything is in like the
Yeah.
10s, the 50s, 6, and then there's just like 390.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like, damn. That's,
apparently there was 5,000 liters and over 10 tons of precursor chemicals
oh,
that like go towards making these materials. They also seized $500,000 in cash, 89 firearms, which included AR assault rifles, handguns. It included body armor, several
Body armor.
several explosive devices, firearm silencers, high capacity magazines. And then I have like
I thought the
Yeah.
most interesting thing here was that the environmental safety mitigation and cleanup costs for this drug super lab has thus far amounted to over $500,000 and increasing.
Really?
So these expenditures have a direct impact on our operating budget, resources, and ultimately taking away funds that are provided by Canadians.
so
really?
my main question.
That's just to clean it up.
Yeah. My
And
main
to, like,
question here is like
organize everything. Sorry.
considering like all that was left, like one, like how do they know? Because it's like, you know, they knew like these guys were coming, clearly.
They definitely did.
Like they knew enough that they had to abandon. Like
Yeah.
they were like, yo, like we gotta like dip out.
yeah,
right
they're like,
now.
yeah, we'll cut our losses.
Like I
Right.
guess like the guy that was left there was just a fall guy, I guess.
Possibly.
Like logistically, you know, having watched all the movies and shows, I know this is
no,
a stupid
no,
thing to
that
say.
makes
Like,
sense.
how do you think this went down? Like, was it like the
Mold.
guy, the inside guy was calling the lab and
100%.
was like,
It's gotta
yo,
be like
like
that.
they're coming right now.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then like how did that go down? I
yeah,
wonder. Yeah.
like
Wonder like how far it runs deep into like government.
yeah.
I mean, it said
Yeah.
multinational, so it's how
Yeah.
many governments actually,
That
like,
too.
right?
So- This, so yeah, the investigation's ongoing, and one person has been arrested.
one for
Federal
all of this.
federal policing
One.
investigators have been able to link this criminal operation to a recent enforcement action conducted by the RCMP Clear team, with 30 tons of precursor chemicals were seized from a rural property in NWBC. And there's another article for that one.
So
which
that
you
was like
which you guys can read later.
So that was when they,
that was
like-
the precursor. That was the
Yeah.
setup. I guess they found some shit,
Mm-hmm.
and then that kind of pointed them to this direction. And because this one, my guess now is because this happened,
Yeah.
they cleared out all the people from that from the super lab. They like saw it coming because this action was taken.
Yeah,
because they were like, oh, we haven't heard from this like storage like facility or wherever they would kept like that 30 tons.
And from, by the way, from that 30,000 kilograms of chemicals, the other one, they didn't arrest anybody.
yeah,
No arrests.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
like it just led them to this, and then they arrested one person.
So-
I guarantee.
And like that because you don't have to arrest everybody. You want, if people cooperate with you, I guess you don't arrest them.
Yeah, because you want the
You
want
want
the
them to
guys
give
up
up
the
their guys.
ladder. Yeah, like you don't care
Yeah,
about
we'll,
the.
we'll leave you alone. Just
yeah.
tell us who the actual guy is.
So that was probably the flipping of Jesse. That was like when Hank
Yeah.
like.
but like they still like you gotta arrest them. And
Yo, how
figure
funny
out.
would it be if
Yeah, but you
they
don't
were all
say-
just having a day off?
And like
They were
just
actually at
lucky.
Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah.
They were coming back from lunch and they saw everybody there and they're like, "Oh fuck!"
Oh,
that."
fuck.
But do you know the thing though? Like that would be hilarious. But like you can't. Those are assets. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff that was spoken about, like that we just went. Those are like precursors and asset because
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
create
yeah.
like. you don't just leave assets unguarded.
Precursor chemicals are cap expenditure.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely
swear
they
it's
are.
capex, man.
Absolutely.
Capex.
or at least R&D.
Yeah, like you feel me? It is absolute R&D is capex.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
So like precursor, like
It's
you know,
capex.
I swear it's capex. So you don't just leave. What did they say? Like $95 million worth of just what fentanyl?
No, 95 million
doses, deadly
lethal
doses.
doses.
Okay, 95. But like I don't know. Sure. Like I just don't the worth of all those things there, I imagine is like a couple million.
let's ask
know what I mean?
let's ask GPT what like the street value of these drugs are.
Did they not say it in the article?
No, I don't think so.
Um,
They said $500,000 in cash,
Yeah.
but like the what's it
Yeah,
called?
well, what
The
would the street
the
value?
6 kilograms of cannabis. Like how much would that be alone?
Yeah.
Like I would estimate that probably close to a couple 100,000, right?
Yeah, no, it would be
Like
insane.
a kilogram?
And while we're
I mean,
like,
we just said like $485 million in profit.
no, that's for the whole operation, not for the thing. But like
But what if that's like basically saying just these materials?
No, it served to deny this transnational organized crime group an estimated $485 million in profit.
really,
So this specific bust
yeah,
kept them from making $500 million in profit.
okay. Well,
Oh my god! So in fentanyl, the fentanyl is worth 86 million apparently.
86 mil. Jeez.
Oh wow, dude! Apparently the the cannabis is like
The
chump change.
Chump change.
That's a deal.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be
That's a
employee
good
benefit.
deal.
That's a great
Yeah.
deal. I mean, that's like we said, employee benefits.
that might
like,
be a
Employee
employee
benefit. I'm telling you, they're just
benefits.
smoking
Yeah.
that shit
yeah,
themselves.
like,
It's not even like
jeez.
it's only 15K for the
The
6
fentanyl
kilograms,
and the
bro.
methamphetamine are like the real. That's like like 150.
Wait, I'm surprised the cocaine is 35 kilograms of cocaine is only 21 million, 2.1 million.
Only.
Only.
Yeah.
I thought like
Only.
cocaine
I've
was
never
the
seen
designer.
2.1 million my whole
No,
life,
you're-
for sure.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like I thought cocaine was a designer drug, so it's like,
Yeah, dude.
You know,
Can you
like-
like compare cocaine to meth? And
oh
like,
yeah, right. Meth is
like
like
cannabis.
such a tremendous amount.
Like,
in
sorry,
terms of-
Clearly
cocaine to
fen-
MDMA. and
Clearly,
cannabis,
fentanyl
yeah.
is the designer drug.
Yeah, no,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
fentanyl
fentanyl
is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but
Mm.
like this is saying street value 145 mil. That's saying 485. That's what 8-figure?
Yeah. I mean, this is
8-figure,
just the drugs themselves. This number,
Yeah.
this 500 million is the entire like because they took down this.
Oh yeah,
entire
that's just the
operation.
drugs. Yeah,
They
not
did-
They took
including
down this
the
entire.
precursor.
So I'm sure this
Yeah.
450 million includes this 145.
Yeah, the 145. That's
Yeah.
insane.
That's
that's
They
a big
just
loss.
left
Man.
abandoned $500 million worth.
That's
of-
like the GDP of some
Dude,
small countries.
Dude,
Well,
like-
when you say the transnational piece of it, I'm saying this is not the only operation that they have.
Probably,
Gus
yeah.
Fring, you're saying he's running wild in Canada. He's probably not. He's, like there's
Yeah,
there's
he's-
a million other countries he could be running
he's
wild
so-
in. You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, there's nobody living in Canada. Let's just go put this out in the mountains, and nobody will ever find
Dude,
it.
I'm saying that the guy who
Insane.
I'm
owns this
saying they
lab
probably
is-
have like 10 of these operations around the world making that much money.
Jesus.
the guy who owns this lab, I think, is gone, bro. Like it's like someone has to pay for 500 million in lost assets.
Like in the
Dude.
organization, like a couple people are gone.
Yeah, like
Like,
I'm like
not one, a couple.
500 million in lost
I mean,
assets is
what
not
was
small
the-
for any organization.
What was the estimation on Pablo Escobar? People said he made like billions of dollars in cash throughout the course of his life. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
And that was just from like one country's worth of operation.
man.
Well, he was making money. Like he was taking advantage of the GDP of the U.S. Right. So it's like, yeah, like you're right. It is Colombia, but it's like the customers were not Colombian, which was
Of
why
course, yeah.
it was so lucrative for him. Like it was.
But he manufactured out of one place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I remember when me and Arya first brought this up. I like how the funniest thing, and we should round this up soon.
Because we have other stuff to talk
Yeah,
about.
we do have other stuff. But you mentioned how RCMP was like it was saying, it cost $500K
Yeah.
to clean up, and that's taking on taxpayer resources. I remember like me and you were talking, and I was like why shouldn't Canada have like the equivalent of like a DEA, like a drug enforcement agency, and then he was like, oh, the RCMP definitely have like a drug division, and I'm
Yep.
like, yeah, no, that makes sense, but if just to clean this up,
it was 500.
I mean, it's $500K, and they're like, yo, this is tightening our resources than to conduct and they've had 2 busts
Yeah.
and they've caught 1 person.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just beautiful. And like, hey, like we're supporting the RCMP and like we need you guys to figure this shit out. Like, you know, so hey, if you work with the RCMP, thank you for your service. And now I proceed to talk shit.
Yeah. Switch up, but yeah, you know, go for it.
I just had to, you know, like
Yeah.
let them know I respect their service. But it's like, Jesus Christ, like we need, like, you know, like something, like there needs to be an agency. So because, like, yeah, okay, might be the only super lab,
Yeah.
but like there are definitely other like operations going on,
For
like,
sure.
you know, in Canada.
Well, yeah,
like,
that's the one before this one led to this one.
yeah, right,
Right, and this is
So-
gonna lead to another one and
So-
another one. Yeah, I mean that's just it, right? We have pipelines and sales. This is their pipeline.
This is the
their
pipeline.
pipeline.
Like,
Yeah, it's like
jeez,
you
like.
Because like when we say like crime doesn't pay, like I think that only applies. Well, that only
Lies.
applies.
Crime clearly pays $500 million.
Well, like it applies to the bottom level. So it's like that's the
the
true
bottom
for
level.
everything. It's like
Yeah.
saying like basketball doesn't play. Well, basketball doesn't pay if you end up being like a middle school basketball teacher.
Yeah.
But it's like
Make
no,
it to
like
the NBA.
people are trying to be in the NBA. You know what I mean? It's like same thing for crime, like in a sense. But you know, I almost wondered. This makes me think conspiracy wise, and this is like a super stupid capitalistic thing to say, and like I wonder if there's like a division which is like hidden, but like to me, like one of probably the most effective ways of like what if like the way to take down these cartels is just to beat them on pricing? So like whenever you like take down a lab like this, you almost have like a division where you pay like reformed criminals to basically go and like I don't know, just like price fix the market or some
Yeah.
shit. Like
I
what
feel
if
like they-
that's the way to solve it? Like
Oh, they tried to do that with weed, no?
They did.
Legalize
true, yeah.
it and price out the criminals.
and I'm sure that's
Yeah.
having a decent impact.
There-
There's
definitely
like
is.
significantly less like black market weed dealers.
Yeah,
now
I mean,
because
it
of
turns
that.
cannabis into an employee benefit
Yeah,
now.
well,
You know
but
what
then
I
they
mean?
didn't. They tried it in Vancouver with like the harder drugs, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
yeah, like because like
So it could
if-
just be a nature of the drug itself, right?
Yeah.
Like now at that point, you know, it's not like a formula you can copy paste. I don't think.
Man, but like I remember Canada was saying fentanyl doesn't go through our borders.
Well, this was seized before the whole like
That's true,
border
that is
thing
true.
was done or
Yeah.
was said by Trump.
Yeah,
Like this all happened before any of that rolled out.
That's true. That happened in
yeah, that happened in December. Anyways, I don't want to go into Trump, but that's just I would have never guessed
Hmm.
that any of this was going on in Canada. Like
Valid.
never. Like anyways, but all right.
That's
is
really
fun.
sweet. Like that you think that good about Canada. That's really sweet.
Yeah. Hey, but shout out Canada.
I
Let's
mean,
go.
when we have places like Hamilton, you know,
Someone like that would be a great place to do a documentary.
Yeah, we should absolutely do a
God.
documentary.
Also,
there.
like last thought on this, because I think Davin has something lined up for us right after. But like again, in all things considered, these are pretty designer drugs. Because like I think like in Asia and stuff, they be doing opium. Like, you know what I mean? And like from what I understand on like the totem pole of things, like opium and like heroin and some of these
I
other
mean,
ones.
isn't
are, like,
fentanyl
Opium-
like an opioid? Can we check?
I'm not
fentanyl?
sure.
Oh,
The reason
probably, yeah.
why they do opium in that part of the world is because it's so readily available.
Oh, like just
Yeah.
in terms of like raw
Like
material?
poppy. I think they come from poppies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think fentanyl is-
opium comes from poppies.
Yeah.
It's not an opioid.
Yeah,
It's
it
an
is an
opioid. Yeah, yeah.
opioid.
So
They're
it comes
both
from
opioids,
opium.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, opium is an opioid.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
they're both opioids. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, I guess opium is just like natural, and fentanyl is the designer version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like synthetic.
Yeah, we're on that.
50 to 100 times stronger than
the
morphine.
morphine. Ooh.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, so we don't have poppies here. So that's why they make fentanyl. Because you can't get it naturally, I guess.
Damn.
Little did you know, Flanders Field was actually talking about a drug operation.
Oh, God. All right. Davin,
Okay,
over
anyway,
to you.
Davin.
We blasphemed the
We're done talking about drugs.
Alrighty.
Hey, kids, don't do drugs.
Please.
Alright, just don't do drugs.
But if you are gonna talk about drugs, let's talk about drugs the way we talk about drugs.
Exactly. There you go. Alrighty. Alright, so
Um,
Davin has something special for us. today.
Alrighty. So just to kind of like get a refresher on the three wise guys, and also for the new listeners, if you guys want to get a bit closer with us, we're gonna do a few segments on getting to know the wise guys. So for our first segment, we're
Great.
gonna do a hot seat segment.
Okay.
So all of you guys will get a question tailored to you. Everyone gets to answer them. The people that don't have that tailored question, they'll reveal their answers first, based off of what they think the tailored person is gonna answer.
Right, so it's like, what is Arya's favorite drink?
Exactly,
And
something
Arya
like
writes
that.
it down, and then me and D guesses.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
What is my favorite drink?
Diet
Diet
Coke, probably.
Yeah, you fucking
Yeah, that one's
addict.
too easy.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Alrighty.
Why do I think people are psychopaths? But like the side.
I'm gonna have to bleep that one out. That
For
was
the
it.
first
Wait,
one-
Davin, we're at 38 minutes. What's the timestamp here? We just decided to be a stupid.
I'm sad that no one else reacted.
I caught that, but I talked over it, so maybe people won't hear.
No, they will. I have to leave it out.
Davin, don't leave it out.
We'll see. We'll see. What's that weird habit that you have? This is to Arya.
Well, this is to me.
Yeah. What's the weird habit that Arya has that Luke and Dolapo always teases about?
Oh, there's like a
Oh,
few.
this is great.
But like, there's one that's
There's a
very.
few. There's
There's
a few.
one that's very timely. That's all I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm writing down.
Oh,
There's one that's very
curious.
timely.
I'm like, there's so many. I don't know what to write.
Make a list. Make a
Mm.
list.
Oh, you
put
know
it
what?
in-
I'm gonna put-
No,
I'm gonna put
Dolapo,
two.
make
I'm
a
gonna put
list. Put it
two.
in a letter, and I'll read it later. Okay.
No, I'm
Don't worry.
No,
Your thoughts are valued, and they
Oh,
will be
shut up.
addressed in a timely manner.
dressed in a timely manner.
Luke, do you have your answer?
I have mine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, given that they're still ready, you can. Go
I'm
for it.
done. I have my answer too.
This is, my answer is here. If
You can just say it.
Say it.
Oh.
Say it. We all wrote.
I wrote stealing lighters.
Oh wow, fuck, that's actually.
Do I show and then he shows?
Then D.
I wrote stomping.
Oh, see that one, yeah, I could have seen that one as well.
What else?
yeah.
You have two on there.
Okay, yeah. and I
Just get it up, bro. I see the second one. Just say it. He said one, but do whatever you want.
No,
It's fine.
this one's related to the stomping. It's like pacing while talking.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Stealing lighters.
Oh, stealing lighters. Fuck. It was stealing lighters. Okay.
Good,
It's just because we were talking about it.
Yeah,
today, you
no,
know?
I blanked, but
Okay, so this one is for Luke.
Okay.
And then you guys can answer this if you know it, but maybe you guys won't be able to. But the question
Oh.
goes: describe your most epic cooking disaster that you've never admitted until now.
Oh, there's two, but he's admitted them.
with Dolapo and Arya, yeah, there has been, yeah.
Or maybe that one.
how don't I remember this? Okay,
I know both of them, yeah.
What do you mean? This is like the two times in your life you complained about his cooking.
Okay, I remember one.
But I think there's.
I don't even remember
what.
what it was that he made.
I remember one of them that he made.
I remember both of them. For Arya and D, but I don't know in general. In general, I feel like
Oh,
there's
I know,
probably- there's
yeah.
probably one that's worse in general, but I don't remember.
hmm.
Okay. This one was a bit more contentious.
Go for it, Arya.
All right, so I wrote pierogies. do you remember
Oh,
do you
that
remember-
was
do you
huge.
remember the pierogies you made?
That was huge. I went off.
In my defense, at least, I didn't give Luke that much of a hard time about this, but it was quite disgusting. I was appreciative that he took time out of the middle of the day to make us lunch. It was really sweet, but I didn't finish that food. I'm telling you right now, that food it was pretty bad. It was like. It was just chewy pierogies, and I think the yogurt or the sour cream was kind of like rotten.
It was just bad.
It was just really bad. It was sour cream was kind of too sour.
Yeah, it was just bad.
I hated it.
No, it was like cheese that was left over. I think. from like a party.
It was the cheese.
It was a cheese.
It was
and
not
then,
blue
like,
cheese, but it smelled like blue cheese.
I don't know what kind of cheese it was.
And
I
do you know
just-
what the crazy
I
thing
pre-shredded
was?
it. Yeah.
What set me off personally was he made two meals at the same time. He made a meal. He made a meal for me and Arya, and he made a meal for his girlfriend.
The meal for himself was so good. It was like fried rice.
The meal for his girlfriend, fried rice, smelled so good. And then,
I think, dude, we paid for these fucking groceries.
Yeah, I know, right? This is our groceries. He's usually cooked for his girlfriend, and then he made us these dead fucking disgusting ass pierogies, but that
The
was good.
pierogies themselves are good, by the way. Like we get those from Costco all the
Yeah,
time. and we
it's-
like
Burgers
them.
is
That's a good-
fine. You just
it's a good
screwed them
brand,
up.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
All right, for me, it was like the stewed chicken, or was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it was stewed chicken, not pork, right?
I
It was
wrote
boiled
here.
chicken.
I wrote here boiling
Oh,
chicken
yeah.
and the pierogies.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. We got it. There we go.
There's only two. There's only two
yeah.
in our entire lives where we're like,
Yeah.
Luke, this is not it.
You know what's crazy? Like the chicken thing I've made before for you guys. I just don't know how I did it that day, but it was really bad. I do remember that.
Oh, dude, it was so bad.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Already.
Let's do me.
Let's
This
go.
is for D. Now, what's a ridiculous thing that D's secretly competitive about?
Fuck.
There's like a few things here.
Um,
I don't think I'm gonna guess the
not
one
gonna
that
get this one
D's
right.
that D's gonna put down though.
I don't even know what I'm secretly.
I was thinking about like when we were in skiing, that games room had a game where I was like,
Oh.
if D was here, you and I would be going off on that shit.
Oh, okay. I have.
I
one.
know. I have the one. This is absolutely correct.
And there
don't
could
think
be
mine's
a
gonna be
couple.
right.
There could be a couple, but I have
There could
one,
be a
yeah.
couple, but like this is definitely one of them. I'll wait
Arya, go
for
for
I'll
it.
wait for D to.
Yeah,
I'll wait for D to be
I
finished.
put
Oh,
two.
okay.
No, I'm done right
Are you
now.
done writing, Luke? Are you
Yeah,
done
I
writing?
put two. Yeah,
You put two. You're done.
Mhm.
Okay. Foosball.
yeah. I also put foosball.
I wrote foosball.
Let's go.
I did. I put foosball and musical chairs.
Musical chairs is also correct.
Okay, how did foosball happen?
Oh,
It happened on
Do
St.
you wanna
Patrick's
say it
Day
or
2
you want me
years
to say
ago.
it?
okay.
It was
well,
St. Patrick's Day last
It
year.
was St. Patrick's Day
Last year, yeah.
But the backstory is, in my old place of work, we had a foosball table, and we were pretty competitive. And like I would say I was. I would say I was the like reigning champion. The reigning champion left, and then after he left, I became the champion. Well, actually, there were two champions before me. Whatever. At some point I became a champion. And then we go for St. Patrick's Day, and we go to a bar really close, and there happens to be a foosball table. And Arya is really, really good at games, like parlor games, darts,
Yeah.
foosball. Like, name the game, Arya's probably, excellent to elite at the game.
But foosball, I'm better than everything else.
Okay, sure. So
Foosball is my number one.
So we go out as a foosball table, and like I'm not that good at games, by the way, as well. Like I'm not good at games at all for the most part, and sports too. And so I'm like, oh, I'm really good at foosball. I'm like telling the guys about all the shit I do at work, and then Arya's like, I bet I can beat you, and like so casually. That obviously had me fucking
Enemy arc created right away.
Inflamed. Luke is just there, like looking at these two idiots. And so I'm like, yo, fuck it. Let's go to the foosball table at the back. Play the first game. I think it was close. The first game maybe like 10-7 or 10-6.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't
You're
that
good.
bad.
You're actually really good
Like-
at foosball.
Sure. Yeah, I'm okay. It's
Yeah.
like 10-7. And then I'm like, okay, best 2 out of 3. Then the next game, I think you beat me like 10-1, 10-2.
I think that was a warm up.
He was like, that was the one. And then I'm like, fuck this, best 3 out of 5.
It's a hockey game now.
Oh,
And how did that go to Papa?
just know I did not win a game.
The key is you
We
score
actually said
points.
no. After that, we were like, okay, we're gonna keep this going. Every
Yeah.
time we see a foosball table,
Yeah, I was, and
we're
then I
gonna
started
do-
blaming the foosball table. And I was like,
Yes. Yeah, you were like, we need to go play at my
Yeah,
office.
I was like, we need to go play on my home turf.
This is my away game. I'm not that good.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
that good.
yeah. You're like,
I
this
was
is
so hurt though. I was so
This is a series.
Oh fuck! But that was hilarious. That was
I
actually so
remember
funny.
that day because we went to another bar after that, and then I was like, "So what's the record?" And you were like, "It's 3-0." So I'm like, and then, I was like, "Well, like in terms of like points?" And you're like, "No, we played 3 games." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I think you're like, "Oh, we're gonna just keep this up." And I was like, "D, at what point do you think you're gonna like? At what point do you think you're gonna overtake Arya when like you guys are like 50 games in, like 100 games in, like?"
Luke did not believe. It's on the record now.
It seems
God.
I don't know. Maybe we haven't been in environments where there's been a foosball table, but it's been 3-0 since then.
Yeah, yeah, we
It-
haven't. We haven't.
It's
Yeah.
funny because like you're actually not that competitive about anything.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like except
It's always the stupid things. too.
because I egged you on too.
No.
I was being a bit was it provocative or
It's fun though. I love it though. It makes
Yeah.
for good times.
Great questions, Davin.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving on to a new segment. This is a most likely to scenario.
Ooh,
So
I
for
love
this one,
scenarios.
let's just point to who you think is gonna be after my count. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then you point.
Okay.
Okay. So vote a person who is most likely to miss 3 TTC streetcars in a row because they were running just 1 minute late.
Minute late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Definitely not Arya.
Well, you're gonna count,
Yes.
right?
Ready?
Oh,
Yeah.
oops.
1, 2, 3.
I
I
He was
remember-
late today.
I
He was late today with the Uber.
I remember somebody telling me about you were telling me about this Ottawa story where you were waiting for a bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to share that a
Man,
little bit?
like there's so many waiting for a bus stories in Ottawa. Oh, okay, but I think the one was about winter, right? Oh man, yeah, it's etched in my memory. So I went to school in Ottawa. Ottawa has brutal winters. For those that live in Ottawa, there's a place called Train Yards, and there's a huge Walmart at Train Yards. And so I went to go do some groceries there. And if you know Train Yards, it's a little weird to
It's
get.
huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, but like with public transport, like OC transport is what it's called. It's pretty weird to get to Train
Train
Yards.
yards, yeah. You have to go to Herdman.
Yeah, you have to go to
you have to
Herdman
cross
and
like
then
a
walk.
huge intersection and then get there.
But there's also like one bus.
Yep.
That goes to like stops like right in front of Train Yards. It's like a random bus, like one of those off-hour buses, like only operates like 6 hours during the day, something like that. And for some reason, it's winter, and like I don't want to walk to Herdman because I'm like, like I don't know, I'm dumb. Like I just thought it would be harder, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait at this bus stop, and get back home, whatever. And so I have my groceries, so I have groceries. I go to this bus stop in front of Train Yards, and I get on a bus. I get on the wrong bus, right? And
Yes, because there's another bus that stops kind of close to the Walmart, but it
Yeah.
doesn't go to.
it doesn't go to
yeah,
where
yeah.
I needed to go. So I get on the wrong bus. Obviously, it's cold. Whatever I get, I don't realize I'm on the wrong bus until like 5-6 stops in between, and now I'm like in some neighborhood in like Ottawa. This is farther away from my destination than I ever was. And so I'm like, all right, fuck. I just need to get off the bus and like figure out the next, like the right bus to get onto. And this is like January or February, right in the dead of winter. It's cold as shit. I get out the bus and I'm waiting at the bus stop for the next bus to come. Right? It's supposed to come in like 10 minutes. An hour later, no bus.
You went
I like you waited for the
inhale?
whole hour.
Dude.
Yeah.
1 hour.
Dude, an hour later, no bus. I'm a broke student, so I didn't want to Uber. I remember my iPhone. So like I don't remember. I think I had like an iPhone 6S or something.
Like wouldn't turn on.
Yeah.
It's cold.
So when it
It's like
gets
negative
cold,
40 degrees weather.
yeah, your iPhone like starts to shut off, and like I'm seeing like I'm trying to like make sure like my phone doesn't come out, just so it doesn't shut off, and like I'm wearing some fucking Timbs. I hate Timbs. Don't buy Timbs as like winter shoes. Like I love you, Luke, but like geez, just the worst. Okay,
Not
Like,
for Ottawa winter.
yeah,
no,
not for
that's-
Ottawa,
That's
like,
different. Yeah.
my toes are freezing to death in my Timbs. Like I'm wearing gloves, but like my feet, like I've been standing in a bus. I'm the only one in this bus stop as well, too. Like, which should have let me know like an hour and no one's here. But like it's a neighborhood too, so everybody has cars and stuff. Like my fingers are freezing, my toes are freezing. Like no bus. I start like kind of like tears start falling. Like I'm crying. Like at this point, I'm thinking, I'm like, why did I come to Canada? Like, what am I doing? Like, dude, like man, like this memory is etched into my mind,
It's
bro. Like
trauma.
it's so like I was at that bus stop for probably an hour 30 to 2 hours before a bus finally comes, and like I just finally get in, and like yeah, by the way, my phone dies. Like and so like I think at some point I wanted to call an Uber. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, like I'll just eat it. Like phone dead, fingers like couldn't feel, toes couldn't feel. Like just like hunched over, cold Nigerian boy, like, you know, in Ottawa. Yeah, it was
That's
just it was just
crazy.
so bad. It was
Like,
so
you
bad.
probably got into the bus. You're like, oh, God bless you,
Dude,
God
like,
bless you.
I
Take me,
was-
please take me home right now.
Like
Please
I was
take
just
me home.
happy to like be in like warmth.
Oh yeah,
Like,
anyone
you know
would
what
be.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure like I just got back to like my house, didn't say a word to anyone, went in my bed and like just curled up and went to bed.
As you should.
Oh jeez, but yeah. I hope OC Transpo is doing better.
OC
by this.
Transpo honestly has many such cases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Similar thing, not that bad, obviously. To
Yeah.
me, but it was. I remember it was like the end of. It was the end of the calendar year in second year. I was waiting for a bus. I was there on time.
mhm.
The bus came and left early.
Yep.
Like, there's no
Happens,
other
yeah.
city where I've
Oh,
taken
TTC
transportation.
sucks.
Well,
Mm,
buses coming early and leaving early is so stupid.
Here's what I think. I think these guys have like a WhatsApp group,
well,
and they're like, "Hey, let's fuck with these guys.
This
today.
is screw with these
Everyone
guys.
get behind my bus, and then let's just all just go."
dude,
It was
Like
ridiculous.
I like yeah in Ottawa too. I remember one time I was gonna go for a job interview and I look on Google. The commute time is an hour. I leave 2 hours early
Mm.
for this thing. I
Smart
missed the
man.
interview
Oh,
because of one of the buses. And like you know this about Ottawa buses. There's a lot of buses in Ottawa where when you go see the times, every single time it's supposed to come during the day is listed.
yeah,
Like people can complain about
yeah,
TTC.
that's true.
The very few TTC buses are like that. Most
Yeah.
of them are just like, you know, every 20 minutes, every 15
Yeah.
minutes,
No,
every
in
5
Ottawa,
minutes.
it's supposed to be a specific.
Yeah,
time.
it'll
Luke
be
is
like
absolutely right.
9:36 and then 10:17 and then 10:53. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I remember looking at it and I was like, huh, they have missed the last 3 times it was supposed to come. It didn't show up. And then at one point I needed to piss. So I went and like at Tim's nearby and I came back.
Okay.
And then I didn't see the bus come by, but like after that, I was convinced that like I missed the one opportunity in like the 2 hours I was waiting there. The bus, like,
Your
went
mind
by.
definitely
Damn.
plays tricks on you, man.
Yeah, it's
Especially in negative 40 degrees.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's every time, if you miss a bus in the summer, it's really not that big.
Yeah,
it's not
you're
that
like,
bad.
Like every time we're complaining about it, it's been in the dead of winter.
yeah,
terrible,
True.
terrible.
Speaking of weather, who is the most likely to complain about Toronto winter, but also complain about Toronto summers?
Huh.
None of you guys? One,
I thought you were gonna
Yeah,
count
yeah,
us
ready?
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, look at that! Look at the modesty.
Okay, if you said just winter, I would have said Aria for sure.
I hate the winter.
I don't feel like you complain. I don't hear you complain
I've been
about
trying
the
not
summer
to.
ever.
I've been trying not to, but sometimes, like I'll get in my car and be like, fuck, it's hot in here.
So
Like,
we're not there.
it's
Yeah,
really-
that's
it's really,
not
really
that
hot in here.
happens, Yeah.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Yeah.
yeah. I think I don't see anyone as like a complainer for weather. I
For
think
the-
we all
yeah.
just like
We all
complain about the winter.
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
us
yeah,
do. Yeah.
But when the
it's
summer comes around, we're in such great moods.
We're more
most of the time.
grateful. We're more
Yeah,
grateful.
we're way more grateful.
I do
Okay.
sometimes complain it's hot, so that's why I was like, maybe it's me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who is most likely to pretend? Oh, sorry. Who is most likely to wait in a 2-hour line for a trendy Ossington restaurant without checking the reviews first? Ready?
Without checking the reviews first.
There's no one.
No one? Okay, then let's
With-
just
you have
let's
to
just
add
go with
with
wait in a
checking.
2-hour line for a trendy Ossington
Oh,
restaurant.
right, that's
Ready?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
alright,
One,
ready.
2, 3.
Oh, oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
No
I
way,
definitely-
it's
I
one of
definitely-
them. It's one of
I
them.
definitely wait 2 hours.
Is Mr. Hipster, right?
He is Mr.
I'd wait to go eat at a restaurant for sure.
What's
Sure.
one recently that you've been like, oh wow, like this was worth the wait?
I haven't been eating out that much recently, which is kind of like unfortunate. But like, there's been a few I wanted to check out. Like, I want to check out the Pine.
I mean, you eat out all the time. You just go to fucking the
We went,
but,
we,
yeah.
went to dinner at the Italian place on
yeah,
Friday.
that was nice. Yeah. But I mean, like, there hasn't been like I haven't gone out to eat at a place where I was like, ooh, like that's a place I want to go eat, and like I think about it, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I haven't done that in a little while. which
I actively
should-
avoid places that have lines.
Yeah, so you don't like waiting.
Because because by the
too,
time I
yeah.
want to go to a restaurant, I'm hungry.
Mm.
So I just, for me, like less weight is better.
I was gonna say I actually think I'm even more annoying. I don't think I'm the type of hipster to go to like a place that has 2-hour wait. I think I'm the type to be like, no, that place probably sucks. But this super small corner mom and pop shop that I discovered after crawling Reddit for like 6 hours is the go-to definitive place. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
no, I
like
vibe with
I'm the
that.
I'm the
I vibe
even
with
like
that.
I'm the even worse version of that, where I'm like pretentious and I'm like, no, this low key spot is better.
As
Yeah.
long as
Hey,
nobody's
it could
waiting
be.
2 hours
It
for
could be.
food.
Yeah, I was gonna say I probably got to eat the most of all three of us, and like there's lines, but like I don't stand out to wait. Like you go, like leave your number with the maitre d, whatever the host, and like I'll go to a bar or somewhere.
I was going to see Adam. Everybody knows Adam because he came on an episode. I was going to see him, and I was going to go pick him up shawarma from Lizette's in Mississauga. It's a really, really cool place in Mississauga. It's really
I've
nice.
heard of it actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it like a small kind of chain?
It's a small chain.
Yeah.
It's at well, this one specifically was I think Dixie and
But it's nothing like elegant
and
or anything
Eglinton.
like that.
No, it's nothing elegant.
It's
But
shawarma, dude.
it's shawarma. But I drove into the plaza, right? I was looking for it. And then I'm looking for a parking spot. I'm looking for the restaurant. And then I see the restaurant. I look to the door. There's a line of maybe 30 people outside.
Crazy.
I don't even look for the rest of the party. I just drive. I
Yeah,
call Adam. I was like, I'm
immediately.
getting you McDonald's.
Yeah,
I'm stopping at a McDonald's right now. I'm not doing
that.
This.
Would be my reaction as well. Just
There's
turn
no-
around
That's
immediately.
This
crazy.
is not worth it.
I'd be like,
Should've
oh,
been
it's
like
a
a
good
free
place,
shawarma
but
day.
I'll come
it's
back.
a good place, but you order it from Uber. I'm not waiting in line.
Okay, last, who's most likely? Vote a person who's most likely to claim they saw Drake at Yorkdale, but it was definitely not him.
I know
Ready?
exactly who that is.
1, 2, 3.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
really?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
Luke
yeah.
doesn't know how
He
anyone
doesn't know
looks
how
like.
people look. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how Nick looks.
I thought you were gonna point at me for being delusional.
No, yeah, but you're smart. Like, that's not like you're smart. You know what people look like.
You're
Luke
right.
just doesn't know
Yeah,
what people look like.
fair enough. I agree.
If it's not
No,
an
no.
MMA fighter or like a K-pop singer.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
feel like
think you know.
my classic thing is like if we go to like a big like outdoor thing, I'll be like, whoa, like generic white guy, and then I'll be like, is that guy like a celebrity to like Arya? And Arya's like, no, that's just like
Yeah.
the guy looks like a mechanic or something.
I actually love it because it's so innocent. It's like a childish wonder.
Yeah.
It's like I saw Drake and I'm like, Luke, wait, describe the circumstances. Like,
Describe the circumstances.
like,
What was Drake doing?
What was he doing?
Oh
What
well, he was
happening?
walking into Winners. I was like, done already. Like, there's no way. There's no way.
Maybe
He
Drake has-
stopped at the
yeah.
Manchu Walkers. Yeah, no, definitely not.
Drake has another side to him, you know, that we don't know of.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If they
God.
sold Aperol spritzes at Manchu Walk, maybe you'd find them there.
Why do you
Oh no,
know,
Dude, the
why do
peach
you know
bellinis.
that?
His
Why?
drink is a peach
Like,
bellini.
look at that.
Yeah.
Look at this is
His
just
drink is a peach
like
bellini.
be better. Like,
I am better.
What is the peach believe? That's a rum drink, I think.
I think so.
No, anyway.
Let's not talk about this, please. Next question.
I actually like peach.
Alrighty, let's
course you
move
do.
on to a new segment.
Oh,
Thank
jeez.
you, listeners, for getting it past this silly segment. But let's get into a bit of memory lane.
Oh, great.
So these are a few questions to just kind of like figure out how you guys got together. So first one, take us back to how the three of you first met. Who remembers the moment?
I mean, we met separately.
Yeah.
Like I met Delapo and then I met Aria. I met Delapo because both through my kind
Luke
of like
is the
roommates.
glue of the
Like
group,
I knew
technically.
Delapo because of Ola, and I knew Ola because Ola was friends with my roommate Ope,
Mm.
right? And then I knew Aria through Josh,
Mm-hmm.
and then I met Josh at like a Frosh event.
Mm.
So that's how I think I knew like the two of you guys. I don't remember when was the very first time the three of us met, like as a group. I don't.
Like I remember the first time I met Arya, but like we weren't cool then. The first time I met Arya, you and Ola brought him to my Brooks apartment.
I remember that day.
Dude.
Bro, what again?
It was Sammy
Wow.
was there.
Yeah,
and Tony
Sammy,
was there.
Anthony was there. Yeah.
I remember, and then I
I-
met Delapo. We didn't pay any mind to each other because
No,
we
we
were
didn't.
just like, oh, these are just side characters.
Yeah,
you know what I
literally.
mean?
Yeah, I was just like,
So we didn't really like.
Yeah.
We didn't. Yeah, I mean, we said, hey, what up? You know what I mean? But we didn't like make
Yeah.
a vow to stay friends or anything
no,
like that.
nothing like that. I'm trying to think like the first time like the three of us like all chilled like together.
Because I know like
Yeah,
there
was that not? No. I was gonna say, was it not at Lee's? when we came and stayed that entire weekend?
No,
No, it was
like
It had something I had to. I think you were just cool with Arya, and you were also cool with Mia, which is why that worked. Because you had a birthday party where I wasn't there because I think I was on exchange or something, and
I
he was there.
remember a writ.
Oh,
Erit.
Reeds?
You
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
that did happen
upstairs
because of the party.
That was
neighbor.
what
That
made
did happen
me-
because of the party.
Yeah, that happened because of your party.
Oh,
Yeah.
I threw a party
You
just
threw-
before I went to Spain, and
Yes.
you came. It wasn't
Yes.
a birthday party.
Yeah.
It was just like an end of year banger because I was leaving Ottawa,
Yes.
and I wasn't coming back.
Yeah, and someone
Yes.
invited me. I think Lauren and Luke invited me.
I think
wasn't-
So. I
I was-
invited,
I
and
was
then he,
not
and
there.
then he. No, you extended the invite over because I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
I want to do this.
I remember coming to that party with Lauren,
Yeah,
and someone else. I forget.
there was like 120 people at that party.
Yeah,
So,
like I just
yeah,
it was cool. And then I met Erit,
yeah.
and then I was like, well, I need to know you more
And
better.
then that's when you came to me.
And then it was like, oh, the only reason we know Erit is because she was Arya's neighbor, and all of a sudden, who is Arya? I need to know this dude, and more importantly, I need to get to his house so I can meet his neighbor. And like in between,
Clear objective.
It was like bad, so
Sorry,
it was a
also-
double-edged thing. It was bad luck for D because I was leaving Ottawa.
Yeah.
I was going to Spain. I was not coming back. But good luck for D because who took my lease?
Yeah,
It
It was
I
Luke.
Yeah.
So he lived in my place, and he was Erit's new neighbor.
Yeah.
And then
and
after
then
that,
Delapo came in. But
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did this? When the summer we went to Lawrence Island, did that happen before this?
that was one of the. That was when
I
we
think
first-
that's
that
what it was.
Higgins
Yeah,
was
that
our
was
first
Higgins,
proper hang.
yeah.
I think that was
actually, no,
yeah,
that was the
So
big
our
revival,
friend
yeah.
has
Higgins was before that.
I think
No,
so.
Higgins was our first. Yeah, Higgins was our
Higgins
first.
was
like-
before your banger.
Because I think it was a university thing. I
Yes,
don't
it
think
was. It was
a
2019.
post-university.
Higgins
Yeah,
was
it was
2019, right? Summer of
okay.
2019.
All right, yeah, it was Higgins. Okay.
So yeah, we went to we had a mutual friend who had this island out in like Bob Cajun, and we went there, and that's when we hung out. It was like Ola, it was Dolapo, it was
Yeah.
me, it was Terry,
Yep.
it was Luke, and that was the first time we hung around. We got in a
Yeah.
canoe together.
That's
There's a
true.
picture of us in a
In the
canoe
canoe,
together. That was
yeah.
from the first time we actually like
Yeah.
proper hung out. And
Yes.
then I
I
most
remember
likely
this.
invited you to my party.
Yeah, probably.
directly.
Yeah.
I remember
And,
this
yeah.
because it was originally supposed to be me, you, and Ola.
Ola
but then,
was
but then
scared.
Ola was so scared of getting into the canoe that we were like, all right,
Yeah.
fuck it. Like,
He
D, come.
tipped over the
Yeah.
canoe. He
Yeah,
tipped over the
because
canoe.
Ola sunk the canoe at the
Yeah,
dock.
I remember that. I remember, and then I subbed in.
Yeah.
And then we were actually a decent team. I remember.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, we
moving
were
to
really good.
Purdue.
So you know what? Before we went Portage, we kind of lied. We did canoe
Yeah.
once
We did once.
before,
Together.
technically.
Nice.
once.
Yeah.
Like a
So,
short
wow.
canoe. No
To
mind.
think like Lauren helped bring us together. Huh?
Yeah, that was, I guess, the
Yeah.
unifying piece.
Yeah.
So I guess that was like a moment that cemented your friendship.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was
Because
like the
Higgins,
first
yeah.
trip together.
Because
Higgins,
we went
yeah.
next year. We did another one off the same like momentum. You know what I mean? We went
Yep.
to Grand Band after
Grand
that.
Band.
Yes,
You know
that's
what I
true.
mean? So that really started the wheel going as far as
Yeah.
hey, like these are cool people to hang out with.
yeah,
We should.
yeah.
And then it was like the party, and then I was gone. And
the
then when
party
we-
was after Grand Bend,
No, the party. So it was Higgins party,
and then Grand.
and then
Bend.
I was, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then
And
Grand Bend.
Grand
I
that
think
summer
Grand
of
Bend was
COVID.
was it that summer or the summer after?
Yeah,
was
Grand
that
Bend was
summer.
2020. Yeah.
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grand Bend was 2020.
Because I remember
It was
that was
COVID.
also the summer we started talking about living together potentially because we took a photo that we used to submit. Remember that was the photo.
Oh yeah,
took?
we stopped on the side of the road. We took a picture in front of my old the red car.
Yes,
Yes.
the red
I had a
car.
red car at the time.
That's
we
my
took-
WhatsApp photo.
Is it actually?
Yeah. It
Oh, that
like-
was the one in the
Yeah,
field.
in the
Yeah.
field.
That's still your Facebook, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's still my Facebook
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I was
that
gonna
wasn't-
ask. How did you guys decide to live together?
yeah, it was then.
And was
I-
that before?
that was-
So
it was the year
wasn't
after.
then. It was the year after.
It was
where
year
we-
after
so
at Adams.
it was about 9 to 10 months before we actually moved in, or
Yeah.
before the summer happened,
Mhm.
where we broached the idea or started talking about it. Because I think D wanted to come to Toronto.
He had already lived
I was already in Toronto.
He
and I
already
was
lived in
going broke,
Toronto.
like, you know.
I think that was
maintaining my
okay. Yeah,
downtown
I think that
apartment.
was right around the time when you first came to Toronto.
Yeah, it was.
After Grand Bend, he moved to Toronto,
After
and then
Grand
the
Bend,
next
yes.
summer we went to Adams for his birthday, and
Yeah.
that's when we took a similar photo with your new car, and that's the one we submitted. Remember,
Yes.
like
But we were looking for a place at that point. So
yes, we were.
yeah,
yes,
it's like
sorry, yeah.
2020 finished, right? 2021 came around,
I moved to Toronto.
and that's when you moved to
2021.
Toronto. That's when we went to New
Yeah.
York together.
Yeah.
And then shortly after we came back from New York, we were just talking and we're like, hey, well, it actually started with, do you want to buy a house together?
That
was
is how it started.
I said,
Yes.
I asked you guys, hey, do you guys want to buy a house
Yes,
together?
it was buy a house. That's
And we were like,
actually
yeah,
how-
let's do it.
let's
And
do it.
then everyone slowly started realizing like how stupid that was.
Yeah, it's
like
very-
nobody could afford a house.
Not slowly, very quickly.
Very quickly. And then we're like, okay, why don't we just live together? Let's rent a
Yeah.
place. Like Luke and I want to head out. D has, several. And then we're like, okay, when D finishes his
Lease.
lease, then we're going to move in together. And we kept on schedule. And then that was also the summer we did the festival.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
summer you met
yeah.
Steph.
Yeah.
And and then we moved in shortly after that.
So then after moving in together, the product of living together was the podcast.
Oh
No,
no,
the
the
podcast
podcast
was its own
way
thing
before.
Yeah,
way
So the
before.
podcast was during COVID. Arya came. So during COVID, like pre-COVID, Luke was supposed to live in Ottawa.
Yeah.
He got a job offer in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Arya was in Spain, and so like Luke like had already lived with me, and so we were gonna. They both graduated a year before me.
Yep.
And so, like, I was going to continue, like, in uni for that year, that COVID year. Luke was going to stay there, so we're still going to be close.
Yep.
Arya was in Spain, do whatever the fuck. Arya didn't know what he was going to do with his life, at that point. And so it was just like, yeah, Arya will be fine. When he's back, we'll all chill. But then COVID happened, and Luke had to move to Toronto. Arya came back, and he was in Toronto.
Yep.
And I think the guys all came to my apartment,
So,
Lee's.
What happened
Yeah.
was I was in Toronto and I was quite depressed because like I
Yes.
was there was like I had broken up with like a girl at that point, so I was going to Peterborough
Okay.
because like I was like, oh, I don't want to like be at home with my parents all the time, so like I would go to Peterborough and stay. And then one of those times Arya came up, and then we were just like chatting. We went to the park, and I think we were like having some drinks, and then Arya was talking about this idea where he was talking to Olo about it at the time, where he wanted to do like this creative collective where like it would have like like music content and like sports content and like different things like that. Like we were talking about like a sports podcast, a Sunday, and then we were talking about maybe making this like like a music oriented show with Ola, and then we kind of like we're talking about okay, well maybe we could also do something where like me and you could do cooking content, and then we could also like do a podcast, etc. So that like was the beginning of it, and then I think we brought that idea to Delapo when we came up for a visit.
Yeah, you guys came
So
up
like
for a
when we
visit
came
and-
up, like
yeah.
me and Ari had already kind of like had that discussion,
Okay.
and I think maybe the intention was actually to go up to talk to. No, I don't think Ola was in Ottawa at this
He
time.
wasn't.
No, yeah.
No, the whole thing definitely started with like the actual content.
Yeah.
Like the YouTube content, like the cooking stuff. Like we actually did a bunch of those videos
YouTube
together
content,
and
yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
And then
The podcast was like a
podcast kind of happened a
yeah.
little bit after that. But it was more of a way for us to just stay in touch during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when COVID happened, we were like, hey, we're not in the same city. And we were already calling like maybe once a week, twice a week, and we're having
Mhm.
these like great conversations. So we're just like, everybody was doing it. So we
Yep.
said, all right, screw it. Like, let's just do it.
Record this on Discord.
It started on
Yeah.
Discord. Yeah, it
Yeah.
started on Discord. What was the bot? Shit, I
I
can't
forget
remember.
the Discord.
Harry, Henry,
Something like that.
something like that. It was like a recording bot.
Yeah. Wasn't
and
a great
then-
bot.
It wasn't
No,
great.
no.
So, and then we slowly got the quality up after a while, but the most important thing was we did it like every week.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Every
Every
week.
week we just sat down.
Yeah,
and
that
we
was
did it.
weekly. Holy
Yeah.
shit,
Weekly,
Monday,
yeah.
Monday weekly.
Monday
weekly.
weekly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember it was after work. We sit down, we do it. And yeah, eventually we were like, hey, we enjoy doing this. And then we talked about living together. And then
Yeah.
it became like a proper thing when we moved in and we were like, we still want to do it. So that was when it became a
Yeah,
proper
like we
thing.
did like 60 episodes, or
We
like
did almost an episode a week for an entire, like the
Yeah,
goal was
no-
52.
Yeah.
And I think we got to like
Like 48
45.
or
yeah,
something.
40,
47.
40
Yeah.
something. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like recording weekly, and you guys made me buy a mic.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, like D, your laptop's shit.
Oh yeah, it was
Your laptop,
no, it was
AirPods are shit,
AirPods,
and your
and then it
laptop
was
was
laptop.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Every-
laptop was better than the AirPods.
It was.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just-
Yeah,
straight
they
up.
were just like, everything about your setup is shit.
Can't hear you, can't do
They were like,
anything.
oh,
All
but-
this to say,
Mm.
you guys have made it quite
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of podcasts that don't survive after COVID, so kudos to you guys for
Mm.
staying in the game.
Kudos to the small audience that we have that actually listens to
Facts.
us. Like
Yeah.
Facts.
we get it. We're not that big, and we don't really have to be. Like we're doing
Yeah.
this. This is kind of like a journal for ourselves. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? It's kind of cool. Like with our best friends, be able to look back after years and see kind of what we did and what we enjoyed talking about, and that's really like why we do it. If people want to listen, we're really, really grateful for that.
I have one final question. So, if you could go back in time to when you guys first met or when you guys deliberated on a certain idea, what would you tell yourselves?
I don't know if I understand the question.
If you could go back and just talk to yourself
Hmm.
and tell them something.
Oh,
Or ourselves or like one
Yeah,
of these
yourself.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easily invest in Bitcoin, do it all, and take it out around 2020, 2021, 2022. But like go really insanely hard on it.
Oh my god.
But like if like obviously if we can't like
How many years back are we allowed to go to
Yeah.
talk to ourselves?
like because I'm like this
to
is early
2020.
uni, yeah.
You said to
Like,
2020.
drop out of university, grind super hard, and just put everything in Bitcoin. But
In regards to the podcast.
yeah,
In regards to the podcast. Okay, tell you something about the podcast.
Nothing about Bitcoin, please.
I think I would tell ourselves like to like commit, because I think there was like a pre-commitment era of this podcast, and I would say like that was like the first probably 70 episodes of it, and I'm sure like some of the content
Insane
was
to think
more-
you do
more than
70
70.
episodes
70
without
to 80,
committing.
yeah. like before the whole like before you got involved basically, Davin. And I would say like even like some of the older episodes, I think we did put a lot more effort into those
We did.
prior to Davin getting involved. But I think it was just like earlier on, I especially had this like notion of like I want to make this as easy as possible. So like let's not think too much about it, let's not work too hard about it. And then my rationale was like let's do this so like we can, you know, keep this up without like it becoming kind of like a hindrance on us. But then indirectly, because we were not very committed to it, like there was no buy-in, and it was always like, at least for me, it was always like, why are we kind of doing this sort of thing? So like I kind of like would just tell ourselves to like, you know, like just commit to it, like do it, like go for it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, you know, just like no point of doing it like kind of half-ass sort of thing.
Yeah.
If I wasn't so like up your ass annoying about it, we might not have made it this far.
No, I don't think so. No, yeah.
No, you're right. And I think what I tell myself is very similar. Different words. I would just say, take it seriously and like give it your all.
Yep.
Because I remember when I first started, I was so worried about how I would come across. Like, remember I had the era where I was wearing a mask.
Yeah, he wanted to
Because-
wear a mask.
Yeah, I wanted to wear it so people wouldn't know who I was, because like I was just saying a bunch of like wild shit. Like it was an outlet. Like I would wear a mask.
Those episodes are gone, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, like I did that. Like I remember I'd always tell the guys, I'm like, hey, I don't want to do anything. I'm just talent. I still kind of say that now.
There was a period of time where his responsibility for the episode was bringing a joke to start the episode.
Oh,
Do you
that
remember
was very true.
And then he just didn't want to do it anymore
Yeah.
one day.
No, because like
It was
like
pre-chat GPT.
Okay,
Yeah.
put a comment in if you want the Lawpo to be the joke czar.
No,
of the-
because
of
he's
the
just gonna
podcast.
chat GPT it now.
yeah, that's
fine.
exactly what it is.
Whatever, ChatGPT everything in your life. Who
Like
cares?
I'm already the energy and life of this podcast.
That's good.
See, I that was a joke. I just told it. It was great.
Great
So yeah, like just take it seriously and give it your all. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything much different. I think if I'm aligning myself with that, I would just say just do something. Just do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be great. But also like I would tell myself, don't let, you know, external factors be your motivation. Is really like you gotta answer the question, like Luke said, like why are we doing this, right? If you can't answer that question, then you just do it. You know what I mean? And we still haven't quite figured it out 100%, right? Like we're still trying to get better every day right now,
Mhm.
but we have something better than what we once did. So just do it. The idea that's gonna, you know, be successful and be the end result is not the one that's gonna come out from the first time that you step foot onto the scene and pick up the mic or do whatever it is that you want. So just keep iterating. Just do it.
Mm.
Shout out Nike.
Shout out. Alrighty, thank you guys for these segments.
Yeah, no, thank you. for
Thank
Thank
coming
you,
over. This
Davin. That
kinda
was great.
fun.
That was fun. I
Like,
really
the
enjoyed
hot
that.
seat one was fun. And the who would what was that?
Yeah, who would most likely?
Yeah, who would most likely respond? We gotta do that more.
I want to do more.
I'm surprised
hot
we were
seats.
very aligned on the.
Yeah, we got all of them right.
Yeah,
on
I think for the
uh,
most part,
hot
like
seat
yeah,
ones,
there was like a right guess.
Yeah. The foosball one was funny.
Yeah.
All those were foosball.
that was the one we all got like dead on.
And it took us a minute too. We were like, I don't know. He's not like, oh.
There we go. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
I was peeved.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
it was
fine.
great.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you liked that. If you did, drop us a comment, drop us a like. Let us know what you think. We love hearing from you. And if you want to see any other type segments like this, just let us know. If you have questions that you want us to have for ourselves on the hot seat, let us know as well. Put that in the comments too. So yeah, until next time, one love.
Peace.
Mwah.
Peace.